Welcome to Gurukul Live Lectures. In the ongoing series of emotional intelligence, today we are going to talk on models of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is a skill that helps us handle the emotions in a very smart way, making our personal and work lives better. It's about being aware of your own feelings, understanding how others feel, and using this understanding to make good choices and build the stronger relationships. Now, the experts have created different models to explain the emotional intelligence, showing us how the emotions can guide us in our daily lives. The key components of emotional intelligence now we will be talking on. The first component of EI is perceiving emotions. Now, this means being able to notice and understand the feelings in yourself and others. For example, you might tell that someone is sad just by their facial expressions or the tone of voice. Now, this particular skill will help you connect with others because you can sense their emotions even when they don't say anything. Now, the second component of the emotional intelligence is using emotions to help thinking. Emotions aren't just feelings, they are also help you think. For example, when you're excited, you might come up with the new ideas more easily. Now, emotions can affect how we think and how we make choices. If we understand this, we can use our feelings to focus better or be more creative. Understanding emotions. Emotions happen for a reason. Understanding emotions means figuring out why you are someone else feeling a certain way. It also means knowing how the feelings can change, like how frustration can turn into anger. Now, this particular thing helps you handle the situations in a better way, especially in the social interactions. The next component of emotional intelligence is managing emotions. This is about controlling your feelings, especially in the tough situations. If you can manage your emotions, you can stay calm under pressure and handle the stress better. It can also mean being kind and patient with others, even if they are upset about it. Now, managing emotions is a key to happen and key for a good relationships and staying positive. By practicing emotional intelligence, the students can improve the communication, reduce the stress level, and create a more supportive environment for a better and others. Understanding and managing emotions is a very vital skills. Now let's start with the characteristics of the models of emotional intelligence. There are some common traits across the different models. The characteristic of the model of emotional intelligence, the first is your self-awareness. Now this is the ability to recognize and understand your own emotions. It involves being aware of how your feelings affect your thoughts and your actions. For example, a person with a high self-awareness knows when they are stressed and can take steps to manage it. The second is self-regulation. Now this means controlling and managing your emotions in the different situations. It includes staying calm, controlling impulses, and acting appropriately even during the tough times. For instance, the students who stay calm during a difficult exam show the good self-regulation. The next is your empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share others' feelings. It helps in building the stronger relationships. Let's take an example. A student who supports a classmate struggling with a project shows empathy by understanding their emotions and offering help. The next characteristic of the model of emotional intelligence is the social skills. The social skill involves effectively managing relationships, working well in teams, and communicating very clearly. For example, a student who coordinates in a group project successfully demonstrates a strong social skill because he is managing, coordinating the entire group for the performance of a particular project. The next characteristic of the model of emotional intelligence is the motivation. Motivation is the drive to reach goals and overcome the challenges. It includes staying positive and working hard even when the things get very tough. Let's take an example. A student who keeps pushing forward despite the setbacks on a personal project shows a strong motivation. Managing emotions. This involves not only managing your own emotions, but also understanding and responding to others' emotions. It includes handling stress and managing the positive emotions and relationships. A student who manages their anxiety before a big presentation, they show a good emotional management. Now, the traits we have talked about and the characteristics of the model of emotional intelligence, what we have talked about, they are very important for the personal success, for leadership, for building a positive relationship with each model, placing the different levels of emphasis on them. Now, there are various models of emotional intelligence, and all the models, they focus on some different level of emphasis and importance on a particular thing. Now, we will now be talking on popular models of emotional intelligence. There are several experts who have crafted the unique models to unravel the complexities of the emotional intelligence. Now, these models serve as the roadmap, guiding us towards a deeper understanding of our emotional and the social skill. Now, let's embark on a journey to explore some of these in a very influential models when you talk about the emotional intelligence model. Now, the popular model what we are going to talk first is the Salovey and the Mayer 4-branch model. Now, this model was created by Peter Salovey and John Mayer. It is one of the earliest framework for the emotional intelligence. Now, when you talk about this model, it has 4 major parts. The first is perceiving emotions, recognizing emotions in yourself and others. This is the first characteristic of this particular model. Now, the second is using emotions to help with thinking and the problem solving. Now, once you receive and perceive the emotions, then you use the emotions, then you understand it, and then you manage it. So, it is a kind of a arrow diagram which you have to keep in mind. That is, the first and the foremost is that you see what kind of emotions are coming. How do you perceive those emotions? And of course, you have to use that emotion, you have to think deeply about how the emotions are being used, and definitely you will be using this for the problem solving. Then you have to understand the emotions in a very rational manner. That is, whether they are for the work and sometimes they change over time. So, a deep understanding of emotions is also required. Then you have to manage those emotions, that is, being able to control the emotions in yourself and also others. Now, these particular 4 parts what we have talked about in detail, then how we can understand and manage the emotions effectively. Now, the popular model of emotional intelligence is the next is your Daniel Goleman's mixed model. This Daniel Goleman model made emotional intelligence well known, especially in the business. Now, this particular model of Daniel has 5 major key parts. The first is your self-awareness, that is knowing your emotions and how well they affect you. The second is self-regulation. Controlling your emotions when they get out of the hand is a self-regulation. The next third part is your motivation, that is being driven to reach the goals for the personal achievement. The next is your empathy, understanding other people's emotions. The fourth is your social skill, that is managing relationships and guiding the people in the right direction. Now, this particular model shows how the emotional intelligence can help in personal success and also the leadership. Next model, what we are going to talk on is a bar 1 model of emotional and social intelligence. We call it as ESI, emotional social intelligence. The Rayon bar on introduced the idea of emotional social intelligence, focusing on both emotional and the social skills. Now, his model includes the interpersonal skills, that is understanding and expressing yourself very well. The next is your interpersonal skills, that is relating well to others. The next aspect is your adaptability, that is managing change effectively. The next is your stress management, coping with the stress well. The general model, that is staying positive and optimistic. This particular model, what we have talked about, highlights how these skills can help you dealing with the emotions and also the diverse social situations. Now, the next model what we are going to talk on is a Mayor-Selway ability model. This is an extension of the original 4-branch model. It focuses on the emotional skills. It emphasizes that the emotional intelligence involves perceiving emotions, understanding emotions, using emotions, and managing emotions. It also recognizes that people have different levels of these emotional abilities. The next model what we are going to talk on is a Travis, Bradbury and Jean Greaves model 2.0 model. This model, based on Goldman's work, simplifies the emotional intelligence into 4 key areas. The first is the self-awareness. The second is your self-management. And the third is your social awareness. When you talk about the self-awareness, recognizing your own emotions, controlling your emotions, understanding your own emotions. The popular model of emotional intelligence, the next aspect is your relationship management, using emotional understanding to interact well with the others. The next model what we are going to talk is your Petrides and Furman's trait emotional intelligence model. Now, this particular model views the emotional intelligence as a group of traits related to how we can see ourselves. Let's take an example. How we understand our own emotion is the emotional self-perception. It also looks at the traits like self-esteem, self-confidence, and how we express emotions. So, we can say that each model offers a very different way to understand the emotional intelligence, and they give strengths on the different aspects also. So, they give us the different tools to manage your own emotions in a better way. So, by learning about these models, the student can really improve your emotional awareness, builds a stronger relationships, handle the stress and deal with the challenges. Now, emotional intelligence is not just a theory but also a very useful skill that can improve our academic, personal and the work lives. The ability model of emotional intelligence, which was developed by Peter Selby and John Mayer, explains how we use our thinking to understand and manage the emotions. It breaks down the emotional intelligence into 4 important skills. So, let's talk about this model in a deep detail. So, let's first talk about the perceiving of emotions. This means recognizing the emotions in yourself and also others. It's about noticing how people, through their facial expressions, their body language, or the way they speak, like if a classmate is fidgeting and looking very nervous before a test, that's a sign of anxiety, and recognizing that feeling shows emotional perception. The second aspect is your using emotions. This involves using your emotions to help you think and make decisions. Emotions can guide us in focusing on what is very, very important. For instance, when you are feeling motivated and excited, you can use that energy to concentrate on your studies and learn about it very effectively. Emotions give you a push to get the things done. Understanding of emotions. Now, this is about understanding how emotions can change and what causes them. Let's take an example. If you're frustrated during a group project, you know that this feeling might turn into satisfaction once the project is completed. It's about seeing how emotions evolve over time and knowing why they happen in a particular situation. Managing emotions. This ability will help you control your emotions and also help understand and manage theirs. For example, if you're feeling very, very stressed during an exam, you can stay calm and take a deep breath and focus on the task. Now, the next model we are talking about in detail is the ability model. Managing emotion means that you don't let feelings like stress and anger take over you. You can even help others calm down when you feel you understand their emotions and make them calm. So, by developing these 4 abilities, a student can better understand not only their emotions but also use them positively for the interpersonal skills for improving the academic performance of others and the social life of others also. So, it's a win-win situation. If you learn these skills, your life will be better and the other people for which you will use these skills will also be better, be it a personal level, the academic level or the social level. Now, let's see the advantages of this model. The ability model of emotional intelligence, it offers many benefits for the students, helping them to improve in the different areas of their lives. So, let's see how it works and explain it in the simple terms. The first is a precision in assessment. Now, this model provides a very, very clear way to measure the emotional intelligence by focusing on a very specific skill like recognizing, using and managing emotions. Now, it also allows the student to see their strength and the areas that need improvement. Let's take an example. If a student struggles with managing the stress, this model can really help identify their weakness, giving them a precise feedback to work on it. The second is your predictive power. The research shows that the students with a higher emotional intelligence often do better in school and the social situations. And you can predict about it, and we have some empirical evidences to this effect that the students with the higher and better emotional abilities can do better in their social lives, in their academic life and also in the social intelligence. This model can predict the success because the students who manage their emotions well, like handling the stress before an exam, usually perform better. By improving the emotional intelligence, The student may also improve their academic performance and the social interactions. The third is it enhances the decision making. Now, this model teaches the students how to use their emotions to make a better decision. Let's take an example. When a student feels motivated, they more likely to make a good choices, like studying for a test. By being aware of their emotions, the student can guide their decisions to benefit both in their personal and the academic lives. It also improves the relationship. When the student understand and manage their emotions, they can communicate more effectively with their classmates and also their teachers. They become better at listening, understanding others' feelings, and showing empathy. This helps in building a stronger and a more positive relationship with those around them. The next is your adaptability and resilience. The students with high emotional intelligence can handle tough situations better. They adapt more easily to the challenges like exam pressure, difficult assignments, and they bounce back quicker from the setback, because comeback is always better than a setback for the people with the higher emotional intelligence. So, this kind of a resilience, it really helps them managing their stress, peer pressure, and any challenge they face in the school or in the life. So, by focusing on these areas, the ability model of emotional intelligence, it helps the students develop essential life skills, making them better equipped to handle emotions, improve the decision making, and build a stronger relationships. Let's see some disadvantages of this. It has a limited focus on the broader aspects of emotions. While the model is vital in assessing the cognitive process of emotions, it may overlook the other important factors like personality traits, and that can also influence the emotional intelligence. There are cultural biases also. So, some tests used in the ability model may have the cultural limitations. Students from the different cultural background may interpret emotional expressions differently, affecting the assessment accuracy. Then we have a limited real world application. The model measures the emotional abilities. It might not always predict a real life outcome. Let's take an example. A student may score well on the ability to recognize emotions in a test but need help to apply these skills effectively in our everyday social interaction. Subjectivity in scoring. Scoring of emotional intelligence can sometimes be very subjective, as the different people may interact emotionally differently. This can lead to the variability in the results. So, all these aspects are very, very important to have a skill of ability model, which can prove to be a very essential skill for the personal growth and for the others' growth as well, not only in their personal life but also in their professional life. Thank you very much.